We are live. The Blue Madness podcast, a production of Dodgers 2080. I'm Tim Rogers, and joining me, my former mentor at the old place, and now just a really good friend, and really still a mentor. He teaches me all sorts of stuff. The one and only from the All Dodgers podcast, from Dodgers territory, Clint the real FRG Pasillas.
What's going on? Hey, you know, can I
Thing.
do this for myself? I
Yeah.
think I do that, and then this is for everybody.
Oh, it comes through. Right on. Does it come through? Let's see.
Yeah, it should have.
Mine come through?
Bruh.
You got it. Okay, there it is. There it is, bruh. We're
Okay.
locked in. What's going on, Tim? Hey, listen, we saw Dodgers pitchers, catchers, hitters, everybody at Camelback Ranch. We're here, baby. We made it.
Finally. It's weird because I'm still enjoying the heck out of the championship. I mean, in San Diego, I'm rubbing it in. You know, every day at work, there's a Dodger polo. But yeah, it's getting there. You know, we'll talk about it, but today really the off season is complete.
Yes.
And well, I guess the only thing that lingers is the captain obvious, which is Dave Roberts and his lifetime contract. I mean,
coming soon.
Yeah, I mean, well earned. I know you had the man, the myth, Andrew Friedman on the show the other day. That
Young
really
up and
cool.
comer.
Yeah, he might be okay. I still think the idea of the robe statue is where it's at. Or at least his Hall of Fame bust should be like that instead. The water or the glasses where he's smiling when it's 2 hours away from the Freddie Freeman news. Just legendary. And so it's really cool that you were able to get him on the show.
It's been a hell of a season so far, a hell of a 2025 for Dodgers territory. We have Dave, we have Teoscar, Andrew Friedman. Huge shout out to my co-host Alana Rizzo, blowing up people's phones to make things happen. And we're hoping very, very soon we have everybody's fan favorite, the Banana Man himself, Kiké Hernandez, should be joining us either this week, next week, or if not, we're going to corner him when we go out to spring training next month.
Oh, that'll be great. I mean, it was amazing to hear Andrew Friedman talking about Kiké Hernandez.
That was really cool. I appreciated the kind of. I guess it's sort of. I don't know how to say it. It's like a career realized. I don't know. It's like potential realized for Kiké Hernandez. He came over here. You know, you hear Kiké talk over the course of his career. Like one of the things that really stands out for me is obviously we're just sitting here talking as we usually do. You and I just talking baseball, but he's talking about how like coming up through the Astros organization, he always tried to be somebody he wasn't, got to the Marlins, started eventually being himself. And then of course he gets to the Dodgers. It was always himself, had some good, had some bad, had a World Series, leaves. And I think when he left, that was something very important for Kiké. I think he needed to see what it was like, you know, maybe the grass isn't always greener. It was very green in Boston, but that time just kind of it felt like it kind of ran out of steam there, and he came back home where he belonged, and now back. What do we call this? Like the fourth time he's a Dodger now? How do we label this?
Let's hope we don't do that with Kirsch, because that would be a lot all the time he's been a free agent. So I mean, I think it was one of those things. It was obvious, but you still go, well, it should happen. Is it going to happen? And then roster space and whatever, it'll all work. It's all work itself out. I mean, how many just last year alone, the Dodgers used 40 different pitchers.
It's crazy. I mean, a lot of names that we weren't expecting to see, and you know, names even up to and including in the World Series. Edgardo Henriquez, Ben Casparis, Benny Caps getting some love today on the internet as well. You know, so many others, and we're going to see more. We're going to see more this year. And can we give a shout out? I know some people are saying, you know, we're saying the Infinity Gauntlet is complete. The Clayton Kershaw re-signing, not official yet, but that's kind of the final icing on the cake. That was an insane offseason. It's two names. There's probably two names that Dodger fans would still love to have back. Of course, you want Walker Buehler back.
Right.
That's not going to happen. And another one, if you just want the boys to get back together, it's Brent Honeywell. Bring back Turtleneck and Chain, even though he would be by far like the worst pitcher on that roster. But otherwise, I think the front office did a pretty good job.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll go through that pretty soon. There's a few things that popped up. I was, I told Clint I was kind of locked in a lab all day, so I didn't get a chance to deal with some news. But sounds like Roki Sasaki let him loose.
Letting it loose. He was there. Yamamoto letting it loose. Dustin May letting it eat.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler Glasnow. It's real. It's real. It's here. Sujo was there. We got video and photos of players walking in that beautiful little parking lot there at Camelback Ranch. That's exciting, and it's open tomorrow to the public finally. And we get our first scrum, our first Dave Roberts scrum of 2025 tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Arizona time. So I'm sure we're gonna hear Dave do some Daveism to talk about how he's more focused on the season and less about that contract extension that's coming.
Yeah, and that's just a matter. That's just I still don't understand all that contract negotiations with managers. It should be easy, but hey, Dave has earned all he wants to hold and get every penny he can. We know the Dodgers aren't just going to start dishing out money, but he'll get it. I do remember it was 2-3 years ago when he signed his last contract extension. I would just so happened to have been was blessed with a press pass that one time, and being able to see that. So we'll get that. Well, maybe they're just waiting for me to be there.
I think it happens really soon. When are you going out?
I'll be out there a week and a half.
We were initially, so Alana and I were trying to initially get out there because we have an interview set up with Dave at some point. We were supposed to be out 17, 18, 19, or at least that's what we were targeting. But instead, we are going with the entire Foul team next month. We're going, I think it's 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to be out there. And then I'm going to be out there with the boys drinking and watching games as I usually would. So guys, if you find me, buy me a beer.
Yeah. It will be one of the guys that's kind of laying out in the outfield. Just
I like to explore the space, really. That's my thing.
That's right.
Oh,
Get
man.
steps in, right? Well, if you guys can't get Dave Roberts, send him my way. I'll be happy to talk to him. I've met him a few times. He still don't remember me. That's okay.
Yeah, that's he's been on the show a couple of times now. I'm pretty sure if I see him, we'll see. He should know my name by now, but I'm gonna corner him. We're gonna corner him as well out there at spring training. By the way, we should shout out. Got people in the chat here. Appreciate you guys joining. Somebody said, "What is it?" Mr. Classic says Clint and Tim. This is an interesting one. No, this is Throwback Thursday right here. You're on at least a dozen Blue Heavens back in the day. This is the boys getting back together.
Yeah, I think you probably had me first on like 2018. I'm guessing.
Yeah, they're about
a couple months after I had started or something like that, talking prospects, and
yep. It was you back then. Had our friend Gail Johnson also as our
AJ.
Positivity correspondent. AJ doing some solid stuff. Still in this space in some way, shapes, and form. I actually got to reach out to him. Him and I haven't talked baseball for a little while. I had him on my show when I came back, rose from the ashes, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, we run together.
That's right. That's right.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was listen, again, that's another one of those throwback shows. I see our boy Roach in the chat. Roach knows.
Oh man, look
Roach
out.
was there.
Mr. We'll see him at Rancho, I'm sure, hopefully.
I like this one. Mikey Kim saying Farhan was a spy we deployed the weekend the Giants. So have you talked about that yet? Because I haven't talked about that anywhere.
Nope,
Farhan Zaidi being back.
It's on the list later. It's
all right,
it'll be part of the off season.
Well, you ready to dive in? Let's do it, man.
Yeah, let's go into that. So, okay, I'm gonna try something here. You ready? Here. Oh boy.
There it is. Hey, there's a thing.
Whoa, it's a thing.
It's graphics.
It's PowerPoint. Very exciting. But just to kind of just get how things started was the Dodgers win the World Series, and soon after they got a bunch of guys that are free agents. We had just all sorts of guys that contributed and didn't contribute. And then, that was all on like the day after the World Series, they were declared as free agents. And then Clayton Kershaw didn't do his option, all that type of stuff. Richard Flores in the house. Ooh, got to keep it clean. Got to keep it clean.
Wait, do we? I was going to ask you before. I don't know how clean we got to keep it.
You can be a little bit.
All right, I'll be a good boy.
Which is not Richard.
The voicemails go off a little bit for sure.
Yeah, the parking lot, Manny Machado, and all the rest. Yeah, even though we do share those sentiments, Richard, I sure do, man.
Oh God.
So a lot of free agents. I mean, Jack Flaherty, who's this Enrique guy? Kiké Hernandez. Daniel Hudson retired. Blake Trinan. Walker Buehler, Kevin Kiermaier retired, and I guess is working for the Blue Jays again.
Yeah, good for him.
Joseph Kelly is still out there, folks. He's still out there. And then Teo. Thank goodness we have some good news with that. So just as things got started, we had the time where we had to go, we have this thing where we got to protect Rule 5. And everyone's like, it's going to be Austin Gauthier. It's got to be Austin Gauthier.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
threw the curveball at us with Jack Dreyer, it was looking at it's a good call. He's absolutely the type of guy that would be picked in that Rule 5. So, and he's on the 40-man roster. As we'll see, the Dodgers are kind of loaded with left-handed pitchers in the bullpen, but you never know. And one thing I had on the list we didn't talk about was Evan Phillips.
Yeah.
Sounds like he will not be ready. And like this channel says, you can never have enough pitching because pitchers break.
Yeah, the Evan Phillips news, I would say that one's kind of shocking, but sort of not surprising because if he wasn't available to pitch in the World Series, it was probably something significant enough. We learn it's a labrum issue in that shoulder. Gets the PRP, so it looks like they're trying treatment and not surgery. And you really hope that doesn't come back to bite them in the what. See, I didn't say ass. To come back and bite them later on in the season, because if there's a reason they went out and got Kirby Yates late in this offseason. There's a reason they got Tanner Scott. And if Evan isn't able to make it back, there's still just so much talent there. Dustin May to the bullpen now makes a lot even more sense than it was making before.
Nick Frasso, that's a guy coming back also. And I they're talking about Ben Kasparius as a bullpen guy. Why not? I mean, everything kind of edged up for him when he was in the bullpen. Kind of crazy, but yeah. Speaking of Ben, man, I don't know if I think you saw it. I had just a great chat with that dude, man. He's awesome.
I still have to send you more of those photos because I had you chatting with him and I think Emmett Sheehan.
Yeah.
There
we go. Look at this. So right out of the blue. Oh my gosh. Blake Snell. I mean, I think we all thought the Dodgers would be interested and they would go, hey, Blake, why don't we do 3 years, $100 million or something like that?
Nope.
This was a signal right away that the Dodgers were not playing around. A little quick reminder to everybody: the pitching staff basically almost died and really didn't have anyone left if the Yankees would have tied that game.
Oh God! Thank you, Walker Buehler.
Oh my gosh!
And shout out Blake Trinan, who we're going to get to very shortly here in this roundup, offseason roundup. But my God, if Blake Trinan doesn't kind of put the team on his back and on his right shoulder there in that game 5, it would have been a completely different aura, completely different momentum if that series came back to LA. And Dave even said that this offseason as well. Thankfully, we didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, and he talked about it because he was part of that team that came from 3-0 down to win one. And yeah, just truly, thank you. But yeah, Blake Snell, my 2025 Cy Young choice.
Oh,
I'm so excited about getting.
bold prediction.
Oh, I don't even think it's that bold.
Not necessarily. Can we talk Snell for just a second here, or do you want to kind of
No, I
recap
want to talk Snell. We got time, man.
So the thing I love about Snell, like you said, that was sort of a signal of like, oh, this is a different feeling off season, and that's what Friedman kind of told us yesterday on DT. He said, this is one of those rare occasions where all of their A plans kind of lined up, and we've seen A plans and B plans fall together or fall apart often in recent off seasons, at least all of them before Shohei Ohtani. To me, this Blake Snell thing, this is a signal that one, getting that parade felt really, really good for this team and for that front office, and particularly Andrew Friedman and Mark Walter. Obviously, they're the ones putting out this money. And two, it signaled like they there is no such thing as too much starting pitching. That's basically what it was. Like you said, everybody died. You had 2.5 starting pitchers by the time you got to the World Series. They needed some more, and that's how you start it.
Yeah, it was an amazing start, and it's tough to go, well, how do you top that? Well, cumulatively, you just might. Let's go to the next one. Winter meetings. So they didn't do a ton in the winter meetings, but one of the surprises was really out of the blue. Michael Conforto. And I actually didn't say Conforto. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
I can't help it. But I included this Joel Sherman thing. He was the guy that always say Max Shiz. That was kind of our way we'd talk in the house whenever we talk about that dude. On the road, my goodness, 17 knocks, 253, 323, 530, and 279 plate appearances. So I'm going to ignore Oracle Park because they're going to play 9 games there?
Yeah, at most. Isn't it fewer now? Isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
because it's the reduced and all inclusive schedule, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that Conforto is still one of those guys. I'm not very hyped on. I'm not very excited about. I mean, it's Michael Conforto. It's not Blake Snell. It's not Roki Sasaki. It's not Aaron Judge or something like that. But still, I mean, this is a dude who's been in his career very, very good before, he wrecked that shoulder. I mean, he was getting all-star consideration, earned an all-star berth with the Mets. He's somebody that, it seems like every year they like pulling one of these dudes, whether it's a Jason Hayward, whether it's a David Peralta, somebody that will plug into one of those outfield spots, some random veteran that's been around, can kind of say AJ Pollock a little bit and do something special for the team, and then hopefully go off for his own career and try to get more, secure himself more money. So is it the most sexy signing? No. Was it shocking, like you said? Hell yeah. Should we be excited? Sure. The Dodgers saw something in him, so
yeah,
that's got to be good.
Those numbers are, you look at that and you go, that looks really good. And one of the things it signaled to me is Dalton Rushing wasn't going to be the left fielder.
Yeah, at least at the outset, which we knew. Come on, let's be fair.
Yeah, fair enough. And then it also was signaling, it's like, well, then if they get Teoscar back, probably right field. Or at least that was at least when I saw this, that was a hope. One of the funny things a couple times. I mean, the Dodgers had their in the community thing, and I kept seeing a picture of a guy. It's like, who the heck is this guy? Huh? Oh, it's Conforto. Okay, someone pointed him out. It's like, who is this guy? Then even when we're at
Fan Fest, yeah. It's like, is this a fan? Is this some random fan they're letting up there? Is this a Make-A-Wish dude or something? Yeah, no, he's definitely a little run-of-the-mill kind of dude. Hey, you got to have those guys.
Heck yeah. And if he can, hit 25 home runs in that lineup, that'd be wonderful. And I think he can. Yeah. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, the winter meetings got a little funner here. When Blake Trinan came back, I mean, I had a video where I said I want all these guys back. And Trinan was, you go, well, you got Kiké, both the Hernandez brothers, Trinan and Buehler. and because they have that October thing about them, and they're those proven guys. And Trinan, oh my God, you said it, you talked about it before, 2 1/3 innings. And then it was the legendary Doc goes up there. How many? I mean, well, Doc's the same guy that hugged a guy on a mound this year. How many times do you see a manager going, basically, it was almost like, man, is he gonna like, do a little exorcism on her or something or what? But, putting his hands on him like that, and it was just kind of, just the stories that you hear about that, and where the Freddie's over there, after the one batter, basically giving that, no, don't, we're good, don't come out again, don't get them. So it was really cool. And then in the Rule 5 draft, of course, Dodgers didn't draft anybody. They got enough. They lost a guy named Garrett McDaniel. So Garrett's a guy that's seen in Rancho, and did a lot of starting and everything, but he became a bullpen guy last couple months of the season. He was really good. I expect him to stick with the Angels, despite the fact they signed Dodgers legend Kenley Jansen today. So Kenley's going to chase those saves with the Angels. I hope he can get as many as he can and get enough to be in the Hall of Fame, because I probably got an autographed ball of him, and when he was really good for the Dodgers.
Wasn't it the Angels too that picked up former Dodger farm hand Michael Peterson today as well?
Did they actually pick him up?
Yeah, I think so. From the Blue Jays.
Was it Blue Jays? Okay,
I think so.
He's bouncing all over now.
Yeah, it's one of those dudes where even when the Dodgers called him up, it's like this is one of those. He's going to be out for about 5 or 6 days, and we'll probably never see him again. And he got his shot, he had his chance, but the Dodgers this is such a different, it's a different brand of Dodger baseball now in the Ohtani era. More is expected, and even if you're okay isn't good enough.
Yeah, and
unless you're Chris Taylor.
Yeah,
and okay is a stretch. Respectfully,
had him on your show.
He's a nice fellow, but he understands.
Yeah, and hopefully, I just like to say, I want him on the roster, but I want it because he's earned it, not for any other reason,
or not because he's owed $15 million or whatever. I can see that. So
after the winter meetings, there was the Christmas break, and then all of a sudden, I know I had my younger one, David, the former Austin Barnes hater, was in town. We were hanging out in Carlsbad, and all of a sudden this breaks, and it's like, I got to go run to my car and do a live show.
Oh, you did a car stream?
I did.
Yeah, you got a little bit of that Dougie McCain in you, huh?
I don't know about that. I need to take some of that Zen or whatever that stuff is.
But that was one of D-Mac's favorite streams. He was in the hospital parking lot while his wife was giving birth to their child, and he did a JD Martinez signing stream. Goat. That's some goat stuff for my boy.
That was cool. And then I get a picture like a couple days later. Yeah, now you know why I was asking you about kids. Like, oh my gosh.
That we don't need to get into all that, but none of us knew, which was wild.
That's the way it rolls. So I think the Hernandez brothers, of course, everyone wants those guys back, but I couldn't imagine Teo not coming back.
Can you think back? I mean, you're a fella that's watched a lot of Dodger baseball, watched a lot of baseball in your life. I'm not calling you old. I'm inferring it. Can you think back to any point in your life where a fan base, just anybody, was so just for a dude? Like, everybody loves this man, Teoscar Hernandez, and rightfully so. Like, this is the smile, the seeds, the childlike joy he brings to the field and to the team. I can't remember anybody like drawing as much adoration from people just all around the world, like as much as Teoscar draws.
And it's the timing of how quick it was. Now we can say, well, Fernando, but you know what? When Fernando was released, before 1991, it wasn't a big surprise, and it wasn't people tearing their hearts out because he was kind of on the way out.
Mike got you as well, Fernando, in there. That's fair.
Yeah. But that started, And of course, if he wouldn't have come back after the first year, that would have been a really crazy thing. But Teo, it really did. It's been tough to think about that because the impact he made, that whole good teammate, good clubhouse guy, all in taking Andy Pages under his wing, kind of in his own way, give him a little bit of roughness out there, but he needed it. At the same time, I hear stories of him really being a true mentor to Pages. They're both Christians, and they, kind of that mentorship going on there. And it was really what can you do? The guy, well, I think you might remember, he was my choice to be the NLCS MVP. Now, he didn't get a hit till much later in the series, but
he turned it on in, what was it, game 6?
Yeah, it was the game.
Yeah.
It was game 6. He hit should have been a double single, but then he hit a home run, and then he was back. So he had that slump, and then in the World Series, he hit in the 5th inning, game tying double, and it was a must do. I don't know, despite all the World Series stuff, Andrew Friedman would have not have been very well liked guy after that.
Yeah, if they let Teo walk over what it ended up being, I think he said he had like $6 million more on the table, which that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
But I think when you look, like, if we were looking at this 5-6 months from down the road, and we're like, just that little bit of money, come on, man.
Yeah.
You guys print money these days, you can afford it.
Right. And and for him, taking a little bit less, it's going to work out. He's going to just get ready for the Teo ads this year. He's going to be all over the place, and he should be. That's part of one of the reasons to stay in LA. And plus, just his whole the name Teoscar Hernandez was elevated so much more. Being in the All-Star game, of course, winning the home run contest, and then being a star in the postseason.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because he's one of those guys too, like Shohei. And Shohei, obviously, the shoulder injury did not help. Didn't have a fantastic postseason. Still very good in his first go around. But Teoscar Hernandez was one of those dudes, and I think you and I might have talked about it. You had mentioned being at one of the games in the press box and kind of seeing BP. I think you had mentioned, like, seeing how much further the baseball flies off of Teoscar Hernandez's bat. You needed to have those type of guys, because before it seemed like Mookie, he's really got to run into it perfectly for it to get a few rows deep or whatever. You need to have those dudes that just lay it all out there and get it halfway up the pavilion, because Dodger Stadium doesn't play the same way in October as it does in July. And I think that was a big difference. This dude we see right there, Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah. Big monster home runs. You need it. And he delivered. And again, it just showed he has what it takes to win in October. And that's, to me, for all of us, right? It's really, if the Dodgers win in 2025 and Teo does his thing again, it's all worth it. Again, it's not our money, but
I mean, it is. We just got to pay in tickets and concessions and that effing Dodger Stadium parking lot parking.
Which half goes to Frank McCourt. Sorry, folks. Sorry to bring up the name.
Yeah, definitely.
And then a Korean surprise. What?
Right? That one, zero chance in my brain.
The only time it was about 3 hours before it happened, somebody on the Twix mentioned something about it, and all of a sudden there it is.
Wasn't that like Daniel Kim, or
it might have been? I don't even remember now, but there was a mention of something, and I'm like, oh, that's what, really? Because at the same time, remember, we still had Mr. Lux. Rest in peace to his Dodger career. So we had Gavin, and we, so both lefty hitters. And then we hear, okay, well, and Mookie's going to be at shortstop. What are we doing with this guy? And then, of course, at the same time, they DFA'd the guy in my profile picture for many things. the
forgot
picture with
about
the
that.
number one prospect is definitely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put someone. I'll put you on there or something like that. But it was like he gets traded to the Twins for a guy named Jose Vasquez. There's a couple Jose Vasquez out there. This isn't him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like still a DSL or a ACL type guy.
Yeah.
And we won't even see him at Rancho yet this year. But now it's like, okay, what we've seen of him looks really good defensively at second.
Mhm.
The numbers indicate maybe not a shortstop, but he seems to be very fast. Maybe get some outfield work in there. What have you heard?
Honestly, not too much outside of what a lot of folks have probably heard. I think we're going to see him bounce around. I think if he can put together a solid enough, batting line, batting average, triple slash line, at least just put together quality at bats, he can be one of those guys that runs away in that second base competition, kind of, becomes the new Gavin Lux in a way. I feel like they're going to view second base, and a lot of that is predicated on Mookie Betts being average, above average, not terrible at shortstop, which I feel like he can be.
Yeah.
Still a little weird, but if Mookie can hold down the fort at shortstop, I think second base is sort of going to be their kind of rotating spot for getting Miggy Rowe in there, getting Kiké, CT3 for as long as he's around. And if Kim can get, the lion's share, as Dave might say, of some reps there at 2B, being in that lineup, batting 8th or 9th or whatever, I think it makes a lot of sense for this team. More so that than seeing him become another utility guy and play in left field, which is something I think David Vassay threw out there very early on after signing him. They viewed him as a utility guy. I think it's more second base and infield, and really just give us some speed and a glove off the bench at worst.
Yeah, and also he they could do the weird platoon of him and Pajes, because Edmund can come into second, and Tommy Edmund's a really good second baseman, Gold Glove type second baseman.
Yeah.
So we shall see what happens with that.
I believe the Kiké signing pushed Pajes off the roster. That's my gut feeling on it, because you can justify it. And I talked about this last night on my show. You can justify it, or was it whenever it was, you can justify it by saying that he's going to get regular at bats at AAA as opposed to playing once or twice a week. And he needs it. He needs the seasoning. He can be a good baseball player, but he's going to need more reps than once or twice a week.
And Pajes, he does have options, and so does Hyeseong Kim.
It's fair.
He needs it.
This is fair.
Even though I don't think they're signed him for that. I'm excited to see what he can do. I mean, my gosh, it's like, well, what do we got here? At least we've seen a few highlights, but man, we shall find out.
Hey, he got a knock off of Bobby Miller last year in those exhibition games, or in one of them. So that's something.
And remember, Bobby Miller's next start was the only good start he had.
He had a good start and then a good inning, and then the whole thing unraveled.
Yeah. We still have Bobby Miller. Okay. I hope, man, I just hope. And then a result of that, okay, Gavin Lux is traded to the Reds.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, he doesn't even have a position on that team right now, it sounds like. It's just like, hey, how the mighty have fallen. And I think the Dodgers did really well on this. Getting the competitive balanced round A pick, that's going to be like, at the end of the day, it's going to probably be 39-40 after all the compensation's been worked out with the qualifying offer guys. And then a guy that the Dodgers seem to like is Mike Sirota. He was the third round pick by the Reds. He was drafted by the Dodgers before that. And then he also, I think he'll be at Rancho. It sounds like he's a legit center fielder too. So
got some power, speed. I just hope he doesn't become the next iteration of like a DJ Peters or something like that. I need to see a little bit more bat to ball before I'm really hyped on the kid.
Yeah, for sure. But the Dodgers last year made a trade, kind of a surprise trade when they traded Michael Bush for two prospects that none of us had heard of. Turned out to be Zaire Hope and Jackson Ferris. So let's hope it's one of those.
What is that? Believe in Andrew Friedman, and Andrew Friedman we trust. I will be happy to see what this kid turns into.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I really hope Cincinnati, works out for Luxy. By the way,
yeah.
Like, so that would be huge.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, because they have Matt McClain out there, who is an infielder, and he was hurt last year, but the year before he was really good. Older brother of Dodger farmman Sean McClain, shortstop. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happened. Roki Sasaki, the long-awaited. This is another car show I did. I was in Austin.
You know what? It's funny. You got to go places, and I need to go camping, and that's when things happen for the Dodgers.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Yeah, we were in a all-you-can-play arcade in Austin. It was really cool. Love all you can do pinball, just keep hitting the button. But it's like, oh, it's happening. Got to get out there. Got to talk about this. But I think a lot of us believe this was true. I mean, I was saying 70% the whole time. You just never know. The Dodgers did need to move a couple of players, couple well-regarded players actually. Dylan Campbell was a pick from a couple years ago, and then Arnaldo. Oh my God! Here we go, Lantigua.
We got there,
but he was a guy that our friend Showtime LA was big on, and we have. Gave up a couple guys, and they need to do that anyway. You got to start clearing that lower part of the roster also.
Yep.
And we got Roki Sasaki, and
pretty good.
He's only 23.
Pretty good signing.
Yeah, yeah, and he's cheap. Yeah, minimum wage.
Can't believe the Dodgers are ruining baseball like that, man. Oh, handshake, backdoor deal,
and we know what what was it? It was the poor Blue Jays were the runner-ups. And then my favorite team, the San Diego Padres, who are in a disastrous situation. There was no way he would sign. The only thing that was even coming close there, I think, was Darvish. That was it.
Yeah, San Diego, man, that's tough. That's a really tough situation down there.
Plus, you go to a meeting and you go, oh, here's our meeting. We have Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Tyler Glasnow, whoever else was there. Oh, you go to the other. You got Manny Machado. You got an 18-year-old Ethan Salas. You got the 21-year-old Jackson Merrill who don't want to eat that raw fish again. And to be honest, Mike Schilt versus Dave Roberts. Come on, it's not close.
It was every bit of a no-brainer situation.
Yeah, and
the Padres probably could have landed him too if they just weren't in the situation. I think they get him if Peter Seidler is still alive, and that's a sucky thing for San Diego. But when we're talking about just getting the player, just getting, as Timmy says, that's a W for Roki Sasaki. I'm happy the Dodgers got that W.
Yeah, big time. And 6-man rotation. I mean, I still remember Daniel Preciado wrote that article in 2019. It was one of us was going to write that article. He wrote it. I remember looking back to go because I thought I wrote it. That's how much I believed in it. And so since 2019, some of us have been pushing for this, and now it's going to start happening. And Roki Sasaki, that's part of the poll. And at the same time, the Padres are trying to pull together 5 pitchers, let alone 6.
What's funny too is thinking about the idea of that many a handful of years ago, thinking that there was enough talent to really have a solid deep 6-man rotation. It's funny, one of those my Google Photos or whatever it did, like it gives you this day in history or whatever, and it's 4 years ago, and I just shared this in the Discord, my all Dodgers Discord. Guys, sign up, $5 a month. Supports the show as well. But anyways, the thing popped up. It was Kershaw, Buehler, Bauer, David Price, and Dustin May, and that was the vaunted Dodgers starting rotation in 2021. And I'm just like, oh no, like really looking at the David Price and Dustin May, like we were supposed to be really hyped about that. The difference 4 years makes, man.
Yeah, I mean, the injuries, of course, take it. You got to take those into account, of course. Whatever else may have happened.
Let's say this, guys. Hit that thumbs up button here on YouTube if you're happy that Andrew Friedman realized there was a problem with the starting rotation and went out and added just about everybody they needed over the last couple off seasons. Because Yamamoto, very big part of that equation as well. And Shohei pitches this year, baby.
Yep, Glasnow, Sasaki. Yeah, we got Shohei now. I still forget about that, but I'm starting to remember a little bit more because we saw Bull, throw a bullpen today. Really great to see. Yeah,
and don't sleep on the cat man either.
No, I actually have him in the 6-man rotation right now. And then Andrew Friedman and company decided to get really crazy.
So this one I had this as an absolutely no shot.
I had it very low. I had it as 20%, which is very low for me in my Dodger optimism. Oh my gosh, Tanner Scott, who is, well, first of all, it keeps him away from Shohei, and of course now we know more with Evan Phillips. It makes a ton of sense. Oh my gosh. And now they have, just in their bullpen, if with just the forgetting Dryer we saw, but we got Tanner Scott, we got Alex Vesia, and Anthony Banda. I mean, Banda was a surprise, but to be honest, Alex Vesia is one of my favorite stories of last year. The dude proved it.
Yeah.
Finally, he finally goes. He had kind of a little bit of a rough start, and you have one game, and it's like DFA Vesia, send him to wherever,
Yeah, send him to the moon. That's what we said. Alana and I said a bunch last year. Send X, send some player to the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he turned out to
he proved everybody wrong.
So freaking good. Proved himself in the postseason. I mean, to be honest, that was one of the things that me at DMAC and I were concerned. We talked about that. Like, is he really going to be a factor in the postseason? And he did it. And now we had Tanner Scott, who sounds like he's going to be the closer. I'm sure plenty of people will get saves, but I think, as you can tell, for these guys just signing, they're not signing to go, oh, I need to get 30 saves. I need to get this and that. I need to get 15 wins and 200 innings. They came here to win a World Series trophy.
Absolutely.
And this is evidence of that.
A good spot to go to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Yeah. And the Padres traded 3 or 4 prospects for this guy. Man, for two and a half months of them. Oops, wrong button. Sorry. I'm used to PowerPoint and you hitting the down button. And then, of course, right after that, it just gets insane. It's like, wait, what? Is this a joke? Really? I mean, I had Kirby Yates as the guy if they didn't get Tanner Scott. And a few of us did. Yeah. And what do you know? They get once they got Tanner Scott, I thought they must be out on him.
If this is not like the epitome of you can never have too much pitching, like this is it. This is them listening to you.
Yeah. And it almost a couple times I caught myself saying, I think we're good. Which of course, this, just like last year, right after, I think maybe it was during FanFest, we get the thing, Nick Frasso is going to be out for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then stuff happened in spring training, and it just keeps piling up. We got that this year now with Evan Phillips. But dang, Kirby Yates, and I know that we've heard in the past Friedman and company talking about the bullpen having a lot of different looks. This bullpen's got a lot of different looks. I mean, you start with Blake Trinan, who's throwing. You can't repeat
video game stuff. It's video game stuff.
It's amazing. And then you got Kirby Yates coming in with that splitter. And if Dustin May is in that bullpen where he's pretty close to video game stuff himself. Was it Pitching Ninja who said that the two guys with the best stuff is Blake Trinan and Dustin May?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about the ability to move the ball to both sides. It's
Oh.
100% those two dudes.
Yeah, and just going down, and they got maybe Edgardo Enriquez now gets a shot.
That was somebody too. I had JJ Cooper of Baseball America on Dodgers territory last week, and I asked him, like, who's one guy that can kind of maybe show up out of nowhere from the farm system to make an impact on the stacked Dodgers roster? And he said Henriquez. He was one of those guys that's very, very high end on Henriquez, and some people today being very, very high on Benny Caps as well. Casper can be a big weapon. You know what we're not hearing enough about, in my opinion, is Justin Wrobleski as one of those dudes who can be another reliever option for this team if they need it. Team is stacked, man.
Yeah, and they're going to end up using all of them and more.
Yes. Yes.
It's just, and then at the bottom we see, the corresponding roster move was to trade world champion Ryan Brazier.
Yep.
Thank
you for your service.
Bucket of balls and some seeds, maybe, and they threw in some seeds. But good for him. Hopefully he's a guy that's getting closer to that 10-year thing. I sure hope he gets it. But it's gonna be tough for him, and hopefully he can go to the Cubs and do his thing there. All right, we're getting closer to the end. Some important stuff.
It's crazy how long this offseason was, man. How just stacked this offseason was with Dodgers talent.
I mean, yeah,
how moves, more should I say moves.
Yeah. Well, and of course, this one I was so tired on Sunday, even though I made a thumbnail about a month and a half ago for this.
My man.
I actually did have a Tanner Scott thumbnail though before it was announced. So I was thinking,
you got to make both. You got to make both at once. That's what I do.
Yep. So
I'm very happy I didn't have Roki to the Padres. I didn't have to use that one.
I just don't even go on. Be too negative.
Oh God. But Kiké back, everybody just happy. Miguel Rojas spoke at Camelback Ranch today. Kirsten Watson asked him about, hey, how do you feel about Kiké coming back? And immediately just this giant smile comes onto his face. It's phrasing. This is one of those guys, man, like Andrew Friedman said yesterday, like it was Kiké or nobody. There's not an obvious need on the roster for Kiké, but they needed to have the man back, and they got their man. 6.5 million.
Yeah, I was hoping for some 2-year contract or something just for him, for his sake. I felt kind of bad that he goes and he is the October stud, and then now you got to wait. But they must have had a handshake at a long time ago. Said, "Hey, Kiké, here's the money that we're going to offer you.
Yeah,
if someone comes back and gives you way more, let us know. We'll make a decision. But we want you back. Here's the deal." And I think his OPS was like 654 off the top of my head. I think because I just saw it recently. It was something like that during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same, then you go in October and he is one of the best players in baseball. For me, one of the reasons I want him back too, just for the regular season, Max Muncy's, 30, almost going to be 35 in the middle of the season. Little platoon action there.
That's an important thing. I don't know if I've actually mentioned on my channel, but I have it as a note. It's like one of the important things for Kiké is his ability to play everywhere, and we saw him play a really nice third base for this team, up to and including getting that final short hop against the Padres in that Game 5 of the NLDS. Like you need to have somebody that is there and ready to back up Muncy, who had a really good year when he was healthy last year, but he did miss months at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, couldn't be happier to have that guy back. I mean,
so I'm over here trying to find. I forget when the date was that Kiké with the glasses emerged, but from what do we got from? What is that? July 25th on, he hit 280 with a 777 OPS. And I mean, what more can you want out of a backup, out of a utility guy, just playing everywhere, playing a lot of third base at that point as well. Let's go, Kiké. Welcome home, baby.
Yeah, and that was the time. Yeah, Muncy was out. Yeah, he missed about 3 months.
Yeah.
Ooh. Of
Should
course,
have gone to the chiropractor earlier.
yeah, that was the classic Dodger injury, though. It's like, well, a couple days, we'll see about the IL, and 3 months later, finally get him back. Yeah, we were all happy to have Kiké back. Thank goodness. And then, a different free agent came back.
The giant spy is what I hear.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's a weird role there. Like kind of, what is it? Special advisor to Mark Walter? Like, what is
Yeah.
that? So he's just like a
Well,
super overseeing part-time GM.
Well, he's still I thought he was still advisor to the club as well as
Assisting
Walter.
in his other sports interests.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe he really
Good role if he can get it, I guess.
By the Lakers, Mark Walter.
Oh God, please. But that's a different story.
Hey, props to the Lakers for having a really good trade deadline. Yeah. Two LA teams have had a good trade deadline in a row, even with the back out. But I'm happy to have him back. I mean, he has an eye for some talent. But he's still, with the Dodgers, he seemed to still bring that Oakland A's payroll mentality. With the Giants, even some of that. Even though he did have Arson Judge and Carlos Correa.
Yeah, it seems like they just weren't willing to go that extra mile they needed to make these deals or those deals happen. And when you're trying to lure, same with the Blue Jays, you're trying to lure in these free agents, you gotta give them 10% over whatever. I don't know what number, but just give them 10% over or more over whatever the next highest offer is. If you really want them bad, they didn't want them bad enough.
Allegedly, they were second in the Bryce Harper sweepstakes, and there's no reason they shouldn't have won that one.
No,
that was silly. You have to win that one, and that could have. Fortunately for us, they didn't sign him. Neither did we, even though it was on the 10-yard line. We had a source say that was going to happen.
Oh, that source that went on the radio.
Oh,
I had to hear about that for weeks.
Yeah, with Bergman Bregman.
Oh,
well,
God.
It wasn't with him, though, was it? Or was it? Nah,
no. It was it was the fella that shares my my namesake or my name.
Oh, okay.
We don't need to go much beyond that.
So Farhan's back. Keep stacking talent, folks, and you never know because the other teams are going to want him back. And then, of course, today, the crown jewel of it all, a Mount Rushmore of Los Angeles Dodgers, first ballot Hall of Famer, the GOAT, the greatest pitcher we've seen in a Dodger uniform since Sandy Koufax, Clayton Kershaw. My gosh, it's so cool that he is back, and we weren't, because the last few years we've been worrying. Hey, is he going to go to Texas?
Yeah,
and
he made it known at that parade. He wasn't going anywhere else. Dodger for life.
It was so great to see, and I at a minimum, I just want him to get those 32 Ks. I'm gonna wherever that's happening. I'm gonna try and go. I would not. I don't want to miss that if that does happen. I was there for Scherzer's, but this guy's a little bit more important to me than Scherzer.
A little bit. I cannot believe this is year 18 of Clayton Kershaw as a big leaguer. I feel old, Tim. I feel real old.
I do too. I really feel old.
I love having this man back.
To be one of my kids.
That's a different story. We don't need to dive into that one, but also don't need to dive into that one. But Kersh being back, even if there's not a clear, role, there's not a clear path to innings for the dude. Like, you got to have Clayton Kershaw back. And I love that there's, like they said, the Dodgers said with Kiké, same with Kershaw. And they've told us this the last number of off seasons, if he wants to be here, we're going to figure it out. this an open door policy for Clayton Kershaw and Ellen Kershaw and Kershaw. You know, if this is his last year, if he's got a couple more in the tank, somehow, some way, they should be in Dodger blue.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen, guys just don't do this anymore, where they stay with one team, and I do think it's wonderful. I still, Willie Mays finished as a Met. Joe Namath finished as a Ram. O.J. Simpson was a 49er. Back when he did something else other than murder people.
I see you in the chat, Richie, by the way. Says there's 250 in the left field pavilion back in his day.
Yeah, heck yeah. I was in left field pavilion in 1983 when R.J. Reynolds squeezed home Pedro Guerrero. One of the funnest games I've ever been to. Dodgers down 6-3 in the ninth and or 6-3 in the eighth, ended up winning the game 7-6 against the Braves. And it was Terry Forster, former Dodger great. The things I remember, and it's like, hey, what's that?
Yeah, it feels like a good segment there. It could be back in my day with Tim Rogers.
There's a lot, man. My first game at Dodger Stadium was in September of 1973. Yeah,
it's a few years before I was born. Yeah, but that's just knowledge, man. That's knowledge.
Just a few.
But what a heck of an offseason there, huh?
It's amazing. Oh, I was going to show. It's kind of the summary here of. Let's see if it shows up. There it is. This is the summary. I've been tracking with my little what's it called, Canva board. Mm-hmm. These are all the new guys on the left. They are free agents we re-signed. We lost some guys. So the top two were to retirement. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the current free agents. But if you look at if you were to take the first column and the third column, I make that trade all day.
Yeah, no, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. What? Yeah, this is it's a special kind of offseason. Again, like Andrew said, hitting on all of their A-list plans, all the A plans. You usually don't get that. We usually don't see that. Like for them to get Snell and Sasaki and like Tanner Scott, no, it should be one of them, maybe two.
It wasn't. It was. Yeah, it's insane. I mean,
everybody.
If you look at it, we go, well, we lost. I mean, for the regular season, we really only lost one starter because Buehler started games in the regular season. He didn't have many good games. So we didn't lose much the regular season. Postseason, there's a different person there. So I'll grant that. But we lost Flaherty, who was there for 2 months of the regular season. Yeah. And we got, Blake Snell, Roki, Sasaki. Okay, well, all day. We'll do that.
Joe Kelly is one of those guys. He says he wants to be a Dodger or retire. He's still waiting to throw a baseball before he decides if he's going to hang it up or not. Do you think there's one of those things down the road 2-3 months from now that we can see Joe Kelly re-signs with Dodgers?
I'm shocked right now that both Kelly and Honeywell have not been given the Daniel Hudson contract from last year. Or somehow I'm hopeful, especially Honeywell. I really want to see that guy at Dodger Stadium for the ring ceremony.
Hey, if he doesn't get a job, he can come out.
Yeah,
I should invite him.
He should be there. Well, and that's
Jack Flaherty will be there.
Yeah, he will. That's right. Yep. And that's pretty cool when you think about it. And so will Trey Sweeney. Oh wait, maybe. I don't know if he makes that roster.
Oh God, that's a name for you.
Oh my gosh.
If you know, you know. So we got to look ahead a little bit here. What's on your biggest concern list amongst? I mean, there's just an insane amount of talent. This is a team that needs a 45-man roster. They need a 30-man active roster, but they don't get that. MLB's not helping the Dodgers cheat enough, according to 29 other different other fan bases. What is your biggest concern heading into this season, man?
I have two. One, of course, is health. So we'll get that one out of the way. The other one
Like
is
the overarching there.
yeah. And then the other one is, and then pitching, of course, is the main, that in the health with pitching is pitching health. And then the other one, of course, is they played all the way till October 30th.
Ooh.
And the bullpen and all that stuff. We've seen that in the past where teams from the next year, even think about it, 2018, after the Dodgers went 7 games against those evil ones. Kenley was toast.
Yeah. It's a really good point.
Kershaw was not the same guy. There was a lot of especially the pitching, it wears them out. So a little bit of concern about that, but that's why you have the injured list. Use it as legally generously as possible. Don't get suspended, anybody. But that's where this depth that get any guys who have options. You're going to make 5 round trips from OKC to Los Angeles and back.
That's without a doubt there. No, that's a really good point. I mean, and it's also a short spring training as well, or spring training as well. Just enunciate it right. That's another one of those not so sneaky reasons the Dodgers went out and got all of those pitching names we see on the screen there. It's you need to have as much ready to fire off, especially early in the season. And that's where we're going to see Dustin May get his chances, Tony Gonsolin get his chances to eat up as many innings as they can, because we have competition during spring training. There's a proving ground there, but there's also going to be a proving ground for the first 2 or 3 months of the season in reality, and everybody should be in that competition mode while everybody's also still having fun, playing around, and having themselves a good time. But that's a good point. You also go back to the 2021 team and season and how they started flat. They kind of had that World Series hangover. I don't think this team has a World Series hangover. I mean, we're already seeing them at Camelback today, hyping and loving on Hyeseong Kim and all of that, getting him acclimated, and everybody is there already. I think this is a team that's just, they want to get back together. The boys want to be back together.
Yeah, they were on a mission last year.
Yeah.
They had that same mission in 2020 because they were coming off of the whole Astros thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I still remember FanFest. Everyone was just pissed. And then, they got it together. We heard the whole thing with Muncy talking about, just, hey, it's the boys for 3 weeks.
Give us 3 weeks.
And they did
love that.
And
I love that.
And that's what they needed to do. They changed it up. That was one of my biggest complaints about the whole 2023 failure. It's like, did you learn a darn thing? And this time they did. And so it was really great for those guys to pick themselves up and present it to the management. And I think they're ready to do some things again this year. Mookie is becoming a captain. It's kind of there. It's kind of coming out all of a sudden. It's not something that it seemed like he wanted, but now he's willing to speak out. He's willing to lay things on the line, obviously, talking about, I got to fill up this hand and all those good things.
He did lay down a little bit of a gauntlet right there.
Yeah.
That's a very clear battle cry, I guess. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of, but that is we're in it. Like, this is, as Andrew Friedman said, it's golden era of Dodger baseball. You got to go out there. You got to win. In my opinion, you got to win 2 of the next 5 World Series at the bare minimum, but you need to win this year. You have, like, if you don't, all of the headlines are kind of bogus. And I understand it's not really up to them. It's a crapshoot, but it feels like this year, even more than last year, is a must win.
Yeah. And I think they're ready for it. They learned so much of themselves this postseason, and it was good that they got challenged by the Padres, and the fact how they bounced back, man, they were 1 game away, man. A bullpen game away at that.
I see you there, Mr. Classic. Obviously, very easier said than done for sure. And you need health. You need all those things that Tim was talking about as well. You need to stay healthy. You need to have your starting pitching not get burnt out and run into the ground. And that's why you have that 6-man rotation. And that's why you have 3 or 4 other guys that can kind of cycle in to buy some innings. It's a team that's primed to repeat, but it takes more than just a bunch of players and talent and all that. It takes a lot of things falling their way.
Speaking of talent,
Yes.
last year when we did this, you brought up a topic, and I got it prepared this time. The non-roster invitees. Folks.
Oh, yeah.
We got to talk about these guys. Let's see if I get this. Hey, look at that. I did it right. Yay. This is my first time kind of doing some of this stuff with Restream. So it's like, hey, hello, here we go.
Right on.
Hopefully people can actually see it. So there's some people we're going, oh, okay, interesting. I don't really know much about a Sam Carlson. Carlos Duran, I know him very well.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite people. He's always willing to take the camera from me in the dugout and take pictures. But also a real good dude with a heck of a slider. He's just coming back from Tommy John. Julian Fernandez, never heard of her. Jackson Ferris.
Pretty good.
I never heard of her, of course, from you, who you got it from. The Sandlot. Jackson Ferris gets his chance to shine a little bit. Okay, the first one that might have a real chance of making an impression and maybe getting a spot at some point to fill maybe the Michael Peterson role, Giovanni Gallegos, who was the Cardinals closer for a bit.
Honestly, I kind of look at Gallegos as sort of a Dan Hudson type personally. Like, he is somebody that if he's healthy and the Dodgers do what they usually do best and kind of get these guys primed and set back up. I'm going primed. I'm a tired boy today, but get them set up for success in terms of mechanics, in terms of pitch usage and all of that. I mean, Gallegos is one of those guys. I had him circled on my NRI list, one of the main guys I'm watching. I also want to get eyes on Jackson Ferris there, hopefully facing some major league hitters at camp. I'm also hoping when I see him, I am going to the spring breakout game. It's going to be Cubs at Dodgers, and I'm hoping there's going to be some Jackson Ferris there. But if there's any of these names on this list, aside Roki Sasaki, which we also see in the list, any of these names that's on this list that has a chance of somehow cracking the opening day roster, or maybe being somebody that is called up in April because he probably has like a May opt-out or something like that, it's Gallegos. He can find a way to sneak on there and maybe be the next Nabil Krismat, or the other former Padre pitcher that also threw some innings for us last year early in the season.
Oh, the guy who was really good in 2020.
Yeah.
Or his arm blew out. Gosh.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Nelson Lamet.
He was really good.
One of those type of dudes. He can be around and like he might be good. Maybe Dave also gives him a hug or something like that.
Yeah.
Like he gave to the guy you said
Ramirez.
Yeah. Yohan Ramirez.
Yeah.
But he's one of those guys. It would be very, very I think some things need to go wrong. We need to have more Evan Phillips type news for Gallegos to make the roster, though. But he's somebody who could sneak his way on.
Yep. Then the next guy I have is Jose Hernandez, who I remember him from Rancho, and then he was Rule 5 drafted by the Pirates in 2023. And then the Dodgers got him back this year.
Yeah.
I think he has a chance. Thing is, he's left-handed. Probably Jack Dreyer would be ahead of him also in that, but he does have major league experience. Joe Jacques. Okay. I've heard of Justin Jarvis. Not much. I've just heard of him. Jared Karras. You gotta say it right.
Karras.
Porterwood Karras. Jared Karras doesn't throw that hard, but he just keeps improving. They've babied him a bit because if you recall, in college he didn't pitch a lot. He kept getting hurt. but he's making progress. So it'll be kind of cool to see him get some action. And he'll be in AAA this year. Jack Little, for those who might remember, he was a star at Stanford. I remember this because one of my players played with Jack Little, so that's why I remember. And he's a guy that's overcome a lot also. So it's cool that he gets there. Okay, the next guy. This is my guy. Jose, not Julio Rodriguez, friend of the show. He really, about says 6'6", at least 6'6". It's a little bit like Frasso with those mechanics. Like Mary, if you recall, I would call Frasso the right-handed Alex Wood. A lot going on. This guy, he seriously turns his back to you, to the batter. You see numbers. I got clear pictures of from behind home plate, just of his numbers, and he's bringing it at you. It's coming from all different. It's like where's that ball coming from? So he had a big year this last year and took that step. And so it was really from a guy coming. It's like, who is this guy? To and quick little story. I knew he was from Mexico. And so I ran into him. So hey, would you like to do an interview? And he kind of shook his head and go, and we can do it in Spanish. He goes, oh no, we'll do it in English. So he speaks really clear English. He's not. I'm not going to do his accent. That wouldn't be nice. But yeah, really good dude. Check out the videos, folks. Look it up. Jose, not Julio Rodriguez, because I did call him Julio a couple times.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, it's a bad look.
That's all right. They still some still call me Poppy. They know
that's where you take out the guesswork there, or the potential fumble. You call him J-Rod.
Yeah, that's
right. Here with J-Rod.
And this Roki Sasaki.
I don't know, man. I think Dodgers might lose on that guy. That's a tough one. I can't believe they spent money on him.
Not too much.
Not too much. That's right.
Not impacting.
I love that he didn't eat up all of the international pool money. That is awesome. Like they still had themselves a hell of an international spending spree this winter as well. They just continue. This front office continues to amaze, man.
Yeah. I mean, they made those trades like we saw in the transactions, but they worked that all out so that they had plenty of extra money. I think they signed well over 20 guys, right? It was pretty close to it. It was at least 17 others.
And I got to go back and look at the press release, but I think they added another one today too.
Yeah,
from what I saw, one of the fellas that reports things on the Instagram. I think I saw a name. I don't know. There's not too many other things going on where I can't pay attention to all the international signings. I'm sorry, everybody.
I know. We pay us more and we'll pay more attention, I guess. Matt Sauer, I've heard of him.
Another dude, big league experience. He has some service time under his belt. Probably the next one of those, Matt Andriese, also in the Bill Chrismat spot starter dude when they need somebody to give them give the rest of the rotation a blow on a Sunday getaway day, and then it's one day in DFA. Probably.
And maybe he goes back and they come back and DFA again. They did that with a couple guys.
Yep.
Well, Honeywell did that.
Honeywell is a huge one. I mean, I don't know where this team ends up if he does not stay in the organization after that DFA.
Unbelievable.
Probably not World Series champs.
Yeah. And he rewarded himself by he not only does he get a ring, he goes down as a kind of a Dodger legend, at least.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He never needs to buy a meal or a drink here. He should never have to buy a meal or a drink here in LA again. And I'm hoping he's one of those dudes that after he retires, he finds his way into you see those alumni events they have. He should be those guys, the next wave of players.
You see the Billy Ashleys out there, and
always the same dudes.
Yeah,
and Brent Honeywell in there for the kids.
So they'd even be sometimes. I remember seeing Tim Leary at the ballpark, with his jersey on.
Don't get me started on Tim Leary. You know my Tim Leary stories.
You got to wear the ring though, didn't you?
I did not. I was live. We were live at the time. So Zed, our boy Zed Santiago,
Oh,
he
man,
got
the Filipino Kershaw.
yes, sir. Filipino Kershaw got to hold the ring and also or wear the ring and hear all of the stories on the side while we're talking to I think it was KP Wee on a very, very old edition of Blue Heaven podcast there. That was Tim Leary, man. He got us a little worried. Respectfully.
Yep.
Anyway.
Okay. Let's see. 2021 free agent signing. Non-drafted free agent. Griffin Lockwood Powell or Lock Powell or whatever as they call him. GLP would work too. Is that a band? He's a catcher, first baseman, a lot of power there. Good to see. For me, it's just like, hey, it's really cool he's getting invited. Yeah. Chris Oki. Okay. I guess it's Oki.
Yeah, Oki.
And it's a good because he will be at Oklahoma City. So
a proud Comet he will be, along with this next guy, Dalton Rushing, who we should probably see him in the outfielder column too.
Yeah. Dalton's it's just a different organization. He's breaking camp probably. I would like to see him go off and make it really difficult for the Dodgers to send him down.
Yeah.
Just do
That's
that.
the best thing you can do. I mean, as I say, it's kind of a weak comp, but Andy Pajes would sort of be that same boat,
Yeah. So hopefully he does that, and then we got former Cubs, the guy who replaced Chris Bryant, David Bodie, and then another guy with a lot of hype, Alex Freeland at shortstop. Again, our guy, Showtime LA's guy. Freeland's moving up the charts. He seems to be the flavor of the month.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
a lot of prospects listed high on him.
Yeah, he's hitting all the top 100s now. And then a guy that I was hoping they'd call him up last year, the one and only 2019 draft pick instead of Gunnar Henderson, Cody Hosey.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Cody he had himself a hell of a year last year. Finally put some things together that we hadn't saw since you were covering him at Rancho a couple years back, where I think he was always a Cal League All-Star that year.
No, that wasn't him. He didn't do Rancho because of the pandemic.
No, I feel like you have a video. You had an interview with Cody Hosey.
That was the guy. No, he wasn't there. You're thinking of the guy that was he was traded for Yarbrough a couple years ago. Oh gosh, can't remember his name anymore. He used to be a second baseman, hit a lot of home runs in 2019. 2020 we lost it. 2021, it wasn't him. He never showed up. He was never there. But he did. He finally had a year where he was healthy. I know our friend Casey Porter is very high on him. Says he's one of the best fielding third basemen out there. I was hoping he'd get a chance this last year. But Rule 5 not picked up. Kind of says
kind of surprising him and Gauthier.
Yeah. Wait, did we see?
Yeah, you missed him. He
didn't
have a picture. I can't blame him.
Austin. Yeah, Austin's a guy we thought would be protected, and then he wasn't even picked. But he's a guy. He's going to make the major leagues. I think in 2025 with somebody. It's just a matter of time. He just he doesn't. He's not going to go hit a bunch of home runs. What he will do is get on base. He walks. He's got a really good eye, and he's fast and plays all over the place. Who knows? Maybe he will be a Dodger. I'd sure like to see it. Another undrafted free agent after the 2021 time frame. They had a lot of guys that they got in that 2021 era. That was a lot of good stuff. Okay, the big guy or one of the big guys, Josue DePaula. Man, friend of the show.
That's a guy who's gonna one day hit some tanks as a big leaguer, huh?
I expect it. The batting eye is elite. They're starting to hear more about him. I mean, Keith Law has probably the best write up on him, talking about there's a lot of line drive, a lot of the exit velocities are good. He's just not lifting the ball yet, and that's okay. He's still, he's not even 20 yet. So he's still getting the man muscle and all that good stuff.
Crazy that he's still just a baby.
Yeah. At the same time, Juan Soto was up in the major leagues in 19. Just saying.
different talent level, we'll say.
It is a different talent level, but it's the eye that draws that comparison for me. People talk about Yordan Alvarez. I haven't seen that yet with the power. But maybe if it shows up, maybe it does. And then he's got to find a position. I think he'll start concentrating a little bit more on his defense. He takes pride in things. I do know that. I mean, I've talked to him many times, and just little things in the dugout. Hey, did you see that? I did this. He stole a lot of bases when I saw him. Better stolen base percentage than Kendall George when I was there.
One of the names I am surprised about. There is no Kendall George on that list, on the NRI list. What happened here?
Yeah, he spent the whole year at Rancho. I wasn't expecting that.
Didn't he miss time too?
He a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It speeds his game. It's got to keep working on getting that bat on the ball. Get some extra bases, not just they talk about and it was, again, I can't remember if it was Keith Law or someone else, or maybe it was Kylie, said he had 4 triples, but those were all because of the legs, not because of the powering like that. So, but he's a young guy also. I mean, he's I didn't have it on here. He's younger than DePaula.
Yeah, well, he's 20, just turned 20, or going to be. He just turned 20.
Yeah, they're about the same. Yeah, him and DePaula mostly.
He's one of those guys. It seems like if things fall well for him in his career, he could be sort of like a Juan Pierre type. Speed, some on base, not a lot of pop, but there's still, for some players, some teams, it feels like there's an avenue, there's a market for that. Kind of like, I wouldn't go as far as Luis Ariz, but if you can get that bat to ball, get on base and run a whole bunch, maybe he finds his way, getting some big league playing time.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, he's really fun to watch when he's out there. You got to keep your eye on him. Justin Dean, one of those guys they signed off, just filler. He'll be in AAA probably, but you just never know. Now we get to the real flavor of the month is in Zaire Hope.
That's yes. Oh yes.
Just he is built like a football player, no joke. He's got running back legs, thigh, that whole lower body. He's muscular, and
what we say is, damn boy, he's thick.
Yeah,
thick boy.
The concern though with those muscular guys is there's more things to pull.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. You look at Shohei and you go, well, those aren't that thick of arms, but he gets all that leverage and all that. So there's baseball strength, and then there's football strength and all that. Zaire's got that. It's just the way he's built. he was born blessed with muscles. Some of us didn't quite get that. But that's just more things to be concerned about. So you just got to watch the conditioning, make sure they talk about fast twitch and the muscles and all that doesn't necessarily go with that, but he can do it all. And I don't know if you remember, but the Cubs actually talked about making him a pitcher also.
Oh, really? That one I didn't know. Or that one I actually, now you mention it, I think I vaguely remember that when they did acquire him.
Yeah.
But that trade happened when I didn't need to super pay attention to Dodger stuff for money anymore. So I kind of tuned out for a little while. It was nice. Respectfully.
Zaire Hope. And then Ryan Ward, another guy that was available for Rule 5, hit a lot of home runs last year. He'll get a shot. And I expect he's going to the comparison just in terms of the career arc, but hopefully a little bit longer would be a Ryan Noda. Ryan was drafted at the Rule 5, had a really good 2023, got DFA'd in 2024, ended up with the Angels. I think he's a free agent right now. I think hopefully Ryan will have a better arc than that. But like I said, people go, boy, the Dodgers, they've got all this talent and they're stacking it up. Well, all these guys were available in the Rule 5.
Yeah.
So
That was
you
one of
know,
the things that JJ Cooper had told me. I forgot exactly how he said it, but there's kind of some industry thinking that all the Dodgers, all these top prospects, not all of them are that good. Maybe they're overvalued.
Right.
Probably because the Dodgers organization is so good, you just naturally assume, well, if the Dodgers have this guy and he's hitting this good here, he should be good, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Right. So I don't know. We'll see with some of those guys. I just, for me, I just want him to get a shot. I don't care if it's with the Dodgers or with anyone
Yeah.
else. Just get a
For
shot.
for him, it's not going to be with the Dodgers. That's
Yeah.
that one I can give you a bona fide guarantee because he's he's down on the depth list, even behind James Outman, and he's pretty far buried on the depth chart
Yeah.
right now.
James Outman, a name from the past, man.
Blast from the past. I remember back in the year of our Lord 2023.
Oh yeah, I got a great fondness for James. You know that. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope we can figure it out. But I don't know where he goes now.
Nope.
They
Too much talent, man.
really stack the talent, and the injuries that would have to happen and stuff like that would be. We don't want that either. But hopefully the Dodgers will hopefully work those things out a bit. Yeah. Any other thoughts? We've been doing this for almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked for baseball to get here, man. Seeing what we saw out of Camelback Ranch today in the last couple of weeks, and it's still not full squad stuff yet. Just hearing the crack of the bat and all that stuff, the pop of the glove, the things that the Dodgers social team is going to be dropping over the next couple of days. That stuff I live for this, man. And you're seeing it. People are living for this. This is arguably the most highly anticipated season of Dodger baseball we've ever seen. This is coming out the season where they signed Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani, traded for Tyler Glasnow and all of this. It's a great time. Great time to be a Dodger fan, man.
It really is. Enjoy this, folks, because you just don't know. I thought in 1988, oh my gosh, we did just traded for Eddie Murray, and then well, man, we're gonna go. Then 89, they weren't even 500. They got Darryl Strawberry. That didn't work out. I mean, you just thought all these things. You just never know. Enjoy it, folks. Go to games if you can. Like they say, buy the tickets.
Yeah.
You just don't know. Like I like to say with like concert wise, I didn't know Prince was gonna die, or I would have went and seen him earlier. I never saw him. Things like that. Buy the tickets, folks. Enjoy it. Shohei Ohtani is a Dodger. Freddie Freeman is 35, folks. Go see the legend.
Go see the future Dodger Hall of Famer.
That's right, man. Hey,
Yeah.
we've talked about it. What's everyone going to remember Freddie by? I don't care what hat he wears in the Hall of Fame. It's that one, right? It's that right there.
There it is. Oh yeah, you got that going behind you.
It's that. It's just it's right up there with Gibson. So yeah, I'm excited. I hope I wish I could make it to that prospect game, but it's not looking good. I got to do that work thing.
All good, man. We'll see you out at a game, man. We got to connect at a ball game this year at Dodger Stadium. We have my Discord. We're setting up a few meetup games.
Oh, good. Okay.
Once we figure those out, I'll ping you. I'd love to have you out there with us. We got a Saturday and a Sunday game lined up during the season. So
awesome.
Come out, watch a ball game. We haven't watched a ball game together in a while. I think the last one we were at was Mookie Betts' debut. We were really at and kind of soaking it in. Was that it? Sorry, debut in spring training.
Yeah.
Before the world ended.
We didn't go to a game in 21 or 22.
I don't know, man. That was a long time ago.
I know.
Very long time ago. 21 was weird for a while there, and then 22.
I know. Oh yeah, it's like, hey, a sixth of the capacity and
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. Oh man, just hated that stuff. But yeah, man, everyone enjoy this time. It's such a we're so fortunate. I get to I get to see people in San Diego just lament a little bit. It's kind of fun. At the same time, as I got some good friends, they don't deserve that, but some of these Padre fans actually do.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We saw them trying to learn how to fan in 2019, 2020. I'd say some of them started getting a little better, but the bad ones, the man with the bad ones, bad, still remain bad.
Yeah,
But,
they like to. Oh, you signed Kiké Hernandez. Did you watch the? Did you watch the playoffs? Oh,
yeah.
didn't he hit the game-winning home run in Game 5? I mean, just
Oh,
saying.
that look off of you, Darvish, like that alone got Kiké a contract, in my opinion.
Heck yeah, it was beautiful. Well, cool. Well, everyone, thank you so much. I know we didn't really interact too much with the chat because when Clint and I start talking baseball, it just never ends. But yeah, we had a lot of good chat. A lot of, let's see. Oh, well, yeah, some people come out. Thanks for everyone for coming out. I appreciate it. Thank you, of course, to the one and only Clint Pasillas, the ultimate friend of the show, the man that inspires us all. The one question I have, Clint, though, this thing
Bruh.
that sounds so much like you. I thought it was you. I really did.
Well, I do a good impression of that meme voice thing. So,
because I'd first heard it on your show, and so I just thought someone had clipped you or something like that. I thought it was you, but then I found later. Oh, it's part of some
one of them
somewhere.
One of them memes, huh?
Yeah,
The memes.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is fun, Tim. I always appreciate talking Dodger baseball with you. We'll connect on my channel at some point too during the season, as we usually do. And to plug my buddy Sny Dog, they're also live. I think they just went live over at Locked On. If people want to join more Dodgers talk here, we love. I think both you and I are people that enjoy promoting other channels here on the YouTube. Some channels go live while we're live. We like to promote people who put in the grind here, that work for it. But anyways, go tube in Locked On Dodgers if you guys want more Dodger talk.
Definitely, and don't forget to catch up with all Dodgers and Dodgers territory with Alana Rizzo.
Yep.
So
we'll be back on Thursday, noon o'clock. Maybe with a Kiké, maybe not. I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, we'll hope for that one. That's for sure. Keep us. Yeah, of course you'll keep us posted so we can
absolutely
either tube in live or tube in later, whatever. Right? just get please.
Either way, hit that subscribe button. Also, rate and review all of our podcasts and all that kind of stuff. Those things really help out all of these shows. I will tell you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate the feedback. I mean, sometimes they get some things. It's like, oh, yeah, it's a good idea.
My favorite one, just before we get out of here, my favorite one was super early in the chat. I can't find the comment, but it was somebody said that Tim is over here in 144p while I'm in 4K HD. Because your internet didn't do you too good here, but whatever it is, we're here for the talk.
It's the camera. It's
got to do an upgrade. We'll talk.
I know. I've been thinking about it.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
All right, Tim, and everybody. Man. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, thanks everyone. God bless and go Dodgers.
That's all I got.